sports talking heads make predictions, then hope you forget about how wrong they were. But not Mackey and Judd.
Write this down.
This is the big leagues, where we own our terrible predictions.
Write that down.
And keep track of each other's batting averages. It's Write That Down.
Write it down. You like writing things down?
With Mackey and Judd.
Yeah. Hey, when are you guys going to admit that you were wrong?
Right now?
Right now.
Right now?
Every Wednesday.
I don't like to be wrong. Don't get me wrong.
I mean,
But I guess we have to admit I am.
percentage-wise, at least on your predictions, you, even though you are the reigning defending batting champion, you are wrong more often than you're right.
That's right.
Interesting.
Baseball, right?
Yeah.
You know that sport with a round bat and round ball that they used to play in the summer.
Here comes Judd all get to the plate. Gonna hit some baseballs.
Yeah, my dad used to tell me about all the big horse races and boxing matches he used to watch when he was a kid back in the 50s, 60s, 70s. That's what I'm going to be telling my kid about baseball. I used to watch the Twins get swept every year in the playoffs.
And you used to just sit there and watch a guy catch the ball and try and hit the ball.
Crazy. Yeah. So anyways, this is Write That Down. Every single week we make predictions, and then we keep track of how wrong we were with batting averages. We got home runs for the big predictions that go right. We do the same thing on Purple Daily, which are football-centric predictions, Viking-centric predictions. And here's how it works. 3 predictions from everybody each week. They must be quantifiable. We keep track of batting averages, home runs, like I said. And if you listeners want to participate, you can send us a message through the Score North app, which is free to download. We are giving things away through the Score North app. It's a central hub for everything we do here on Mackey and Judd, Purple Daily, everything at Score North. We're waiting on guest listener Zeke to be part of the show here, but he hasn't joined us yet. So we may have Zeke, we may not. We will carry on without Zeke if that is the case.
Well, we'll get his if he doesn't join, I'll try to log his predictions. I'll get him in there. Worst case.
Fair enough.
Worst case.
That's fair enough. So, all right, the accountability session is presented by our friends at Federated Mutual Insurance Company, where if you're a business owner looking to take your business to the next level, Federated's here with all sorts of tools, resources, and people to help protect your business against risk. They are looking out on the horizon and out in front to it's kind of like an offensive line, a great offensive line for your business. Federatedinsurance.com, and remember, at Federated, it's our business to protect yours. All right, let's start with Judd. You had a few things come off the board here. You said Kevin O'Connell will, at some point in his press conference, joke about people being nervous that he wasn't actually going to take the Vikings job, but he did.
Yeah, I should have gotten him that note. That would have been a good little
that would have been
icebreaker.
tampering.
Icebreaker.
Tampering?
Well, like you couldn't tell Kevin O'Connell that hey, I need to make this happen so you can make the prediction.
Oh, tampering on my part? Yeah, but I wouldn't have told you guys that I tampered.
I mean, I think the only rule is that the predictions must be quantifiable. I don't know that we even have a tampering.
Oh, that's
rule.
good to know. All right.
Oh, you could oh, yeah.
I'll write that down.
I mean, I scheduled you guys to Allianz Field for a broadcast to fulfill the number of broadcasts that we had to do one time.
That's true.
Yeah, since when?
Tyrant.
Since when are ethics part of Write That Down?
Tyrant.
You said the U.S. women's hockey team will beat Canada in the gold medal game. They failed. This was kind of a layup in retrospect. You said Kevin O'Connell will use the words collaboration and or culture no fewer than 3 times in his opening press conference with the Vikings. We did the tally. It was like 15 or something ridiculous.
Yeah, I think that hit in the first 2 minutes of his opening statement.
I think he used 5 or 6. I think he used the word collaboration 5 or 6 times, or culture. I'm sorry, culture 5 or 6 times in the opening statement.
Yeah.
I felt good about it.
In case you're wondering about, whether he's going to care about the culture. Mike Zimmer really didn't by the end. All right, I had a rough week. I said Wiggins, Levine, and Cat will all share the court at some point during the All-Star game. They were on the same team, and they played, but they never were on the court at the same time. Unfortunately. The U.S. women's hockey team will beat Canada by multiple goals in the gold medal game. And Anthony Edwards will be MVP of the Rising Stars. I should have predicted Cat to win the 3-point contest. I don't know what I was thinking. Cat dominated the 3-point contest, too.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's impressive.
So listeners had nothing come off the board, and Declan had nothing come off the board this week in Mackey and Judd. Write that down. So here is the latest snapshot of our batting averages. Declan at .417 with 1 home run. Judd at .400 with 2 home runs, which leads the league. I'm at 280 with 1 home run. Listeners, still almost to March here. Nothing on the board. No hits.
Come on.
Always swinging
home
they're
runs.
always swinging from the heels, guys. That's the thing with the listeners. They're always swinging from the heels.
Slow start. By the way, if baseball never comes back, we may have to pivot from batting average to something else. I don't know, like shooting percentage or something.
Save percentage?
Save percentage. From a career standpoint, we've been write that down. Goes back like 6 or 7 years, but we've got official stats going back to 2018. It's kind of like baseball, right? Like they played baseball in the 1860s and 70s, but no one actually kept track of things until later. 206 career hits for Judd. The listeners lead with 19 career home runs. Declan just 9 hits away from 100 career hits.
Coming up.
Be a big milestone.
Coming up.
For Deck. So, all right, let's do this. Let's make our predictions.
All right.
We'll start with Judd. We'll go over to Declan. Back to me, Phil Mackey.
All right. Write this down.
Write this down.
The Minnesota Timberwolves will win 3 of their next 5 games. And here's why that's important.
Exactly 3?
Exactly 3. So I'm going for a home run here. And it's also a ballsy prediction because I'm going to give you the opponents. This is a bit of a gauntlet.
Oh, dude.
This is a bit of a gauntlet. They play Thursday in their first game back from the All-Star break at home, Memphis. They play the Sixers on Friday in what is now supposed to be James Harden's first game with Philadelphia.
Man.
They play at Cleveland, and then they come home to play Golden State, and then they go to OKC.
Those are all really good teams, except for Oklahoma City.
Exactly. So 4 of the next 5 games are against quality opponents, but the Timberwolves will win 3 of those 5 games.
Wow.
So I am going for a home run here, and it's a pretty good shot because if they win 3 of 5 against that gauntlet of teams, I think we'll all consider that a rousing success, right?
So you're not picking the specific 3 wins. You're just saying
Correct.
They will win exactly 3 of the next.
But
5
I'm
games.
yes, right. So I am putting this exactly on 3 wins.
Okay.
Against a combination of those teams.
Then they have, how about this weird quirk in the schedule? So they play on Friday, March 4th, they play at Oklahoma City, which is the last game in your stretch of 5.
Yep.
The next day, they come home the next day. It's a back-to-back, an away and home back-to-back against Portland. But then they play Portland again at home 2 days later.
Okay.
They're doing a lot of these where they're stacking teams back-to-back on schedules. They've had this with Sacramento, with Detroit.
It makes a lot of sense.
It's just kind of weird that you'd play a back-to-back. Portland's going to wind up sleeping a night before you do in Minneapolis. Mm-hmm. But I get what they're doing. All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Declan.
Write this down.
All right, we talked about goalie tandems and whatnot in the Hockey Whisperer episode and on Judd's Hockey Show, which you can find Apple, Spotify, scorenorth.com. I will say after doing this flip-flop, Cam, then Capo, then Cam, whatever, I'll say this. Write this down. Capo Kakinen will start the next 2 games for the Wild against Toronto and Calgary.
Yeah, makes sense.
So after doing the flip-flop, I'm going to say Capo will start for sure on Thursday, and then he'll also start against Calgary on Saturday. Write that down.
Interesting.
Here for it. All right. I've got I'm going to...
Write this down.
I got a Wolves one here, too. I'm gonna save this one for the second round. So I'm going to give you a wild one off the top. This is a little cold water from our Hockey Whisperer segment. So, Judd, who are the top 2 names on your trade wish list again?
One is Marc-Andre Fleury of the Blackhawks, the goaltender. The second is Claude Giroux of the Philadelphia Flyers.
So write this down.
Write it down. You like writing things down.
The Wild will disappoint Judd and won't trade for either of those players before the deadline. Write it down.
Whisperer, why?
I just have a feeling.
Why are you doing this to
He
me?
just has a feeling. The Whisperer has a
Why
feeling.
are you doing this to me? Why is the Whisperer a petulant jerk?
The Whisperer just feels like
Like
Minnesota
you seem like a
sports teams.
decent guy.
Minnesota sports teams rarely go all in when they're supposed to. They always make little tepid trades. Oh, I don't want to give up that. Oh, what if we got a
Sean
third line?
Birkenheim.
Let's get a
No,
third
that's true.
line defenseman.
That's very, very true. I hope Bill Guerin is different.
Sam Dyson.
4 Stanley Cup rings, 2 as a player, 2 as an executive. I hope he's different.
I would hope so too, but this is not
Sam
about
Dyson.
personal
I get
attachment
it,
or emotions.
Yeah,
This
I
is-
know.
I just think there's a good chance they don't wind up with. Plus, Giroux can call his own shot, and there's 2 teams that in your division
Actually,
that could be
I think Marc-Andre Fleury also can call his own shot too. I think he is also a.
He's
bold
got.
move as well.
I think he's got a 10. I think he might have a 10-team
Oh,
trade
okay, gotcha.
list.
He almost retired before he went to Chicago. He was contemplating retirement.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Yes, he supposedly was.
Okay.
I'll suck it up and play in the playoffs for a team, dude. You can
All right,
see
we're
your
back.
family after.
We're
Sorry.
back to Judd here.
Oh yeah, sorry. I've melted down again about the wife and kids. Jeez, go. You know what? You got plenty of time the rest of your life to see them. All right, write this down. The Vikings. That's right. I am going to go Vikings prediction, and this one might surprise you, considering the fact it's coming on February 23rd. The Vikings will win their regular season opener next season in KOC's first game. I don't know who it's going to be against. I don't know when. I don't know where. But I have a feeling there's going to be an air of revitalization here. Like I think the whole Zim being gone, I think there's just going to be an initial huge day one of training camp for a while. Just a breath of we can breathe again. We're not being constantly chastised, right? So I'm going to go with the Vikings will win their regular season opener in KOC's first game, no matter who they play. I just have a good feeling about this.
I love it. So yeah, it might be Kellen Mond. Who knows?
I don't know who starts at quarterback, and I'm not going to guarantee it's going to lead to a successful season, but it just feels like a cloud in some ways has lifted a bit.
Yeah.
Write
It
this
does.
down.
Even though it feels that way, even though there's so many things to figure out roster wise, and we don't know if they're gonna push forward, run it back, rebuild, or whatever. But we'll see. All right, Declan.
All right, my second prediction. This guy's cooled off a little bit. He got off to that hot start. Looked like he was going to score 40 goals by the end of the season, but he's cooled off. Ryan Hartman. He has just one goal since January 21st, which is a long time, over a month now. And he's playing top line minutes. He should be putting more goals in. So this is very simple. Ryan Hartman will score a goal between now and next week's. Write that down.
Okay.
Nice little hit up the middle there. Ryan Hartman will score a goal between now and next week's. Write that down. He will break out of his slump and find some twine here in the next 3 games.
Some twine.
I love twine.
Is he going to put the biscuit in the basket?
Find twine was like one of my
lamp?
favorite buzzwords when I did hockey play-by-play. Found the twine, lights the lamp. Oh, yeah, that was all.
The best word, because I don't think there's a place that it's used in the rest of life, is stanchion. Puck hit a stanchion.
Stanchion?
I
Yeah.
love the word stanchion because, I don't think there's stanchions elsewhere, right? Like, do we refer to a stanchion outside of the hockey arena?
I used it at a Bantam game last week, and my girlfriend said, "What did you just say?" I said, "Stanchion." Did you see it carried off the stanchion right in front of the goaltender? She's like, "What are you saying?" She's like, you made up that word. And I was like, "No, I didn't. I didn't make it up. It's an actual word." And she looked it up, and it was an actual word.
Yeah, you're 100% right.
Stanchion. Football. Yeah, we need
Hockey.
stanchions in football. That's what we need.
Write this down.
All right, write this down here. Let's go to the Timberwolves here. So Judd already mentioned the 5 games. They've got a back-to-back to start the second half of the season against 2 of the best teams in the NBA, Memphis and Philadelphia, both at home. Let's make that a fun atmosphere, by the way, Target Center. So write this down. They will beat at least one of those teams, Memphis or Philadelphia. I think if they split those games, it's a huge win on a back-to-back, especially if James Harden's playing on that Friday. So they will beat either Memphis or Philadelphia or both. So they'll win at least one of those games on Thursday or Friday at Target Center. Write it down.
Write this
John
down.
Morant, baby.
Dude, the Grizzlies are... So our guy Jay Will, we should get him on again at some point down the stretch. So Jay Will from ESPN Radio, he went on Get Up this morning, and Mike Greenberg wanted some bold NBA predictions for the second half. His first prediction was the Memphis Grizzlies are going to be in the NBA Finals representing the Western Conference, which is bold. It is bold, but they are sneaky good, and the Wolves have played them tough. Didn't the Wolves at one point have I think one of those games really, didn't the Wolves beat the Grizzlies by like 30 or 40 points too?
At Target Center.
Yeah.
Yes, they did. They crushed them.
Now, they're different than they were when the Wolves played them and beat them by 40. They have evolved into one of the best teams in the NBA since then. So these would be good wins over either Memphis, Philadelphia, or both.
Write this down.
All right.
All right, my final write that down prediction. I'm actually going to counter what Declan said and on the fly say Cam Talbot will start at least one of the next 2 games.
Okay.
So Dex is saying that Capo's going to start against Toronto on Thursday and Calgary on Saturday. This team is very, and this sort of concerns me a little bit, this team is very loyal to Cam as the guy. And like Capo, we'll play Capo and we like Capo, but Cam. So I'm going to say that they have not thrown in the towel yet on this part of Cam, and that they're going to say, no, we've got to get him out of the slump. It's just a little slump. So Cam Talbot will start one of the next 2 games.
I have a feeling if they beat Toronto, they're gonna go back to Capo. If they lose to Toronto on Thursday,
that's a good
then
feeling.
They'll get back to Cam. But I
think
at this point they're gonna now start, now that they've been kind of flip flopping and being a little inconsistent. If they're gonna now start riding the wave of the consistency, whoever's giving them wins. So if they're gonna probably beat Toronto, and then I think Capo will get both starts. That's my predictions.
Right.
That's off the record.
Okay, I just want to make sure there.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. No, I was not going to.
I saw Phil's ears perk up a little bit when I said
so he was trying
Toronto.
to get you.
He was trying to bait me a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. A remote to fulfill his right.
I wasn't part of that. I wasn't part of that one.
Oh yeah,
that was not part of that. I think I was back in studio, shockingly, but no, I was not part of that prediction. No,
I will never trust again.
No. My final. Write that down. Final one here. Write this down. Cam Talbot will not be on the Wild's opening night roster in 2022-23. So basically, this is Cam Talbot's last season with the Wild, is what I'm saying. Right. But I don't want to get burned on how the semantics of how he gets off this roster. So I'm just going to say Cam Talbot will not be on the Wild's opening night roster in 2022-23. Right then.
So yeah, I feel like their goaltending situation for this year and for like the next 3 years is very tenuous.
Yes,
that's fair to say. Like we have no. Kakkonen hasn't proven that he can step in at any point.
I've got one name for you, Jesper Wallstedt.
Okay,
Jesper Wallstedt, who they took in the first round of last June's draft.
Correct.
From Sweden, he is big time. Okay. He is going to solve their problems.
In what year?
Well, that's being debated. I think he is far closer to being prepared to play in the National Hockey League than some do. I don't think it's next season, but I think the season after he is up for sure, and he might be here at some point next season. I don't think opening night.
Okay, so get the flower in here in the short
term.
That's
what I'm saying. The flower.
Bridge the gap.
Oh God.
Write it down. You like writing things down.
Okay, write this down. Aaron Rodgers will go back to the Packers. Write it down.
Oh man.
He watched Brett Favre do this for years.
Yeah.
And he's doing it more aggressively than Brett Favre in some ways, right?
No, not in some ways. I think he flat out is, because it is more because of his ability to go on Instagram and Twitter. I think that he is being even more manipulative than Brett was, and Brett was an all-time manipulator. So like that's saying something.
Yeah.
But that Instagram post, he knew exactly what he was doing. Exactly.
Yes, he loves the attention. He loves people speculating about him. He loves throwing up and then he loves throwing up, period. Clearly, just based on his PK cleanse or whatever.
Stop right there.
It's like, how does he connect with his teammates? I mean, this is a guy who's like 39 years old. He has alienated, or vice versa, his relationship with his family. If I'm the Packers, at what point, if you're the Packers, are you? And by the way, he has failed in the playoffs. Like that game against the Niners was on him, man. You got to do better in that situation at home, because the year before he said, well, we got to get one of these games at our place when it's,
you need a bad game,
20 degrees. It's like, okay, well then you got beat anyways. If you're the Packers, at some point, aren't you just kind of like, we're good, guy. Let's just get a couple first-round picks and move on. I mean, be careful what you wish for. You've had 30 years of Hall of Fame quarterbacks, but at what point,
So I think the problem is this. If Kirk Cousins in the regular season possessed the God-given talent Rodgers does, right? His annoying quirks become a little bit more endearing because he's so good. And I think the Packers ultimately are faced with, it's so frustrating because the sentiment here is, well, if you get rid of Kirk, what are you going to do? I mean, he's a pretty good quarterback, right? So imagine that times 5.
Yeah.
Because I think in Green Bay, they are saying that. but they're not entirely wrong. Like we are misguided. Like, what are we saying? Like, Kirk Cousins can be replaced, but if Kirk Cousins had Hall of Fame talent, I think we would run into legitimately the same problem. So that's my guess. But Phil, I mean, it's weird because when you have a guy who in the regular season is that good, I do think the annoying stuff becomes more tolerable. Where like with Kirk, it's just, I think, weird.
Yeah. No, I agree. All right. That's a wrap. Write that down. Predictions, accountability session.
Write it down. You like writing things
down. The only
down.
show in America that actually keeps track of how wrong we've been. Just putting our jobs and reputations on the line every single day. Check us out too. Purple Daily predictions today, and also on Purple Daily later on today. Let's just say old Macadac potentially did the Vikings a favor. All right, so we'll do that too on Purple Daily. See you guys.